My name is Myosen Marsha Olson. I'm a Zen teacher and a Zen priest. I'm also co-founder of Joshu Zen Temple that was originated in California. I want to talk about our modern lifestyle and the status of the family. We all want to be part of a loving family. As a nation and a society, we should be very concerned about the breakdown of the family unit. It is good for us to focus on marriage and family, but perhaps there is a larger scope that we should look at. How has our modern culture developed in recent decades? How has it changed? In recent decades, we have seen a major weakening of the family. At the same time, we see a major weakening in the health of our children and overall health of the population. We see epidemic levels of diabetes, autism, overweight conditions, plus the use of prescription drugs to calm kids, especially boys. Is that really necessary? Are kids being given strong calming drugs because they don't get enough outside exercise and running around as we did in the old days? And it also seems the risk of our children being molested has reached much higher levels than in the past. Cancer rates are reaching epidemic levels across the board. America has seen a decline in educational results as well. We know that divorce and having children before marriage are both huge causes of poverty. And the poverty rate has gone up slightly from, I think it was the 1960s up until now. In the past, we never saw such a skyrocketing rate of these problems. These levels were unheard of. Is this a modern coincidence? And my question is, with what does it coincide? Is there anyone in the home dedicated to caring for the health of our children and guiding them? Is anyone in the home dedicated to caring for the health of all family members, including one's spouse? Are we too busy? Are we too stressed? As a society, the choices and attitudes that we have adopted in the last 50 years or so have been huge contributors to the declining conditions that are evident. From attitudes about family and relationships down to the modern way we prepare, rather not prepare, meals. Kids not getting enough physical activity, too much family stress, all these things. We should step back and take a look at the big picture. With a specific focus on family, perhaps we should question the changes we have made to our lifestyle as a whole country. Have we learned the lesson that there is always a price to pay for every decision we make? There's always a counterbalance for every decision. What are the consequences of our decisions? We must weigh our decisions carefully. In life, one must frequently make sacrifices. We make sacrifices to ward off the negative results that will surely come as a consequence of not making those sacrifices. Who makes the sacrifices? With regard to family, the parents make the sacrifices. The mother and father make the sacrifices. If the parents don't make the sacrifices, who suffers? The whole family suffers, but those who are hurt the most are the children. And society also suffers the consequences. If we go along with modern enlightened attitudes, we allow ourselves to believe that we can have it all. Perhaps as a society, we are now hopefully maturing and learning the lesson that in many circumstances, choices and sacrifices must be made. Smarter choices can be made in one's overall life's planning in order to have a better and more prosperous life. But when planning one's life, one must keep in mind that there are certain stretches of years where one needs to sacrifice for the happiness of one's immediate family and children, and actually for oneself, one's own happiness. With proper life planning, perhaps one can eventually, quote unquote, have it all, but sometimes it is important to delay gratification in deference to compassion. In the past, there were always some families who fell apart. There were always a few kids, even from good families, who acted out in negative ways. However, the culture was still strong. As a society, the overall state of the family was still in good shape. But now it seems the state of the family is on the cusp of chaos. So that now the reverse may be true, meaning that what used to be the exception is now becoming more the rule, more the norm. Even the good kids from good families are being dragged down by the large number of wild, disconnected kids who are forming what might be termed the subculture. With one parent being overworked and the other parent absent, how can a kid connect with parents and family? Or with both parents overworked, the same question applies. Who is supervising? Who cares what they do? Who cares what they eat or if they get enough physical activity? Who cares if the food is prepared in a healthy way, i.e., not in a microwave? What parent has time to educate himself about health? Who cares if other kids or adults are pressuring the kids into sex or drugs? Who knows if they are watching disgusting material at another's house? Television and movies and other modern media, such as games, have presented bad examples for kids in many instances. They encourage rudeness, base behavior, disobedience, self-centeredness, and bullying. They are exposed to too much of these influences with no one there to say no. Plus, they are more susceptible to these influences with no firm family foundation. So many kids have become disconnected from parents and family. The bond of love has been weakened. With a family torn apart or parents who are not committed, there are no role models except television, daycare, other kids, movies, multimedia, games, and whatever. With not enough inner substance being provided by a strong family foundation, kids are more vulnerable to outside influences, which are legion. They flail about aimlessly with no core values. We have become an anything-goes culture. Are we learning the lesson that what sounds too good to be true usually is too good to be true? Has it taken us 50 years to learn that lesson? Why did we so easily believe that one can have it all and that everything would just magically fall into place? Some are luckier and can afford to pay for help. But even those lucky ones must take care, or else they risk losing connection with their children and family. They risk weakening the bond of love with their children and spouses. Do parents have time to fight for what is right for their children in the schools? Or are they too overstressed and overworked? Mothers instinctively want to do a good job for caring for their children and spouses, but they have been told that that is not good enough. They have been told that it is shameful to be dedicated only to the well-being of their families. They've been told that they must have it all in order to have any real self-worth. They have been told that their children don't need fathers and they don't need husbands. I say that having a mother at home is a treasure that should be highly respected as it once was, and not denigrated as it now is. How do we return to the state of caring, to the state where women were respected for being what they are naturally, nurturers caring for their families instead of being belittled? Sometimes when we give up something precious, it may take some doing to get it back. Caring for a family is a full-time job that should be taken seriously. It takes a little sacrifice to ensure that our kids and our spouses have a healthy life, both physically and emotionally. If parents want happy children, then spouses need to treat each other well, respect each other in their roles, and tend to one another's needs. Each person and each family must resolve their own situations according to their own needs and circumstances. To accept imperfections in life and in our loved ones is to mature. Spouses sometimes let go of one another and get divorced, thinking they can find someone better. Later, they learn the hard way that what they already had was a good thing, and now it's too late to get it back. We need to love, respect, and appreciate our spouses for all good things they do. Make a point to take note of them all. When we develop wisdom, then we know we already have it all. We should develop this kind of thinking and practice. We don't need to constantly grasp for more and more. If we try to do it all and be it all, then we may end up with nothing at all. Culture and society do not impose moral standards and structure as they once did. Therefore, it is important that we develop and maintain inner standards by which to live. This is important in providing the backbone of the family structure as well as one's own development. Life doesn't come without problems. How do we weather those problems as a family? Life doesn't come without some sorrow and disappointment. That's just part of the landscape. The body doesn't come without problems. The body needs care and application of health knowledge to stay healthy. Without good health and without a good family foundation, one may be more tempted to try something illicit to feel better, which, as we know, can lead to disaster. There are no guarantees in life, but we can't better the odds. Spouses don't come without problems. Are we expecting perfection? Are we unifying and embracing both the good as well as the imperfections in our spouses? Children don't come without problems. Human kids are fairly high maintenance. They are certainly not little turtle hatchlings that we just let run out to the sea to their peril. So even though we have all these wonderful things, life, love, marriage, family, and children, they all come laden with potential problems that must be prevented or healed. The blue sky is not separate from the clouds. Are we brave enough to navigate the sky with its clouds? Are we strong enough? The answer is yes, if we put our minds to it. When one focuses on developing wisdom and compassion, when this is one's focus and practice, then one can use the path of family to strengthen his progress in this development. This benefits one personally, and it benefits the whole family. If we don't make the sacrifices to create a strong family foundation, where every member of the family feels respected, valued, and cared for, then we see what the results are. The negative results have been increasing all around us. These unhappy results create conditions that make our whole society weaker and more base. Let us cultivate the path of family and put the energy and effort required. Let us channel our energy into this path of family, which is the path of true charity and compassion for one another.